Good Monday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about the cars and trucks and motorcycles and the dogs. You're the dogs. Hey, good morning there. Good to see you this Monday morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Welcome to my channel. If you're a new subscriber or just somebody that watches my channel, appreciate you staying in touch with me as I'm down here still in Tennessee. Yeah, we haven't left, but we are leaving. So kind of delayed our leaving time because just thought the Mother's Day Sunday would be the better time to spend the time as a family versus ride up down the road. So yeah, I'm still here, but we're leaving today. And it's all about that connection, right? When you're connected with your family, hopefully you feel better about things. I don't know. I know there's some tough connections out there with family. If you're a married man or a person in this real world, yeah, why would you be a real person, right? I don't know anymore. It's all this artificial intelligence. What's real and what's not real, right? So yeah, going on today. Wow, these Indian motorcycles, you just so connect with these bikes. It's just these Indians. It's just incredible how I literally got away from all the Harley Davidson products. And I just truly felt Indian is the better of the two. But yet here I now own 5 Indians. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 5th one in Florida, a Chief Bobber. And I own 5 Harleys. Yes, beyond believable. 5 Harleys and 5 Indians. I mean, just ridiculous, really. I mean, need to thin out the connections, right? I mean, how many vehicles do you need to be connected to, right? Just like the cars versus the Ford, which is still here. The GT500s are gone. The Scat Pack and the Gold Rush Red Eye are still here. So I'm more connected with these vehicles than the Ford. Oh, my goodness gracious. So, yeah, I thought to myself this morning, why don't we talk about the connection? You know, because cars and us individuals, we just seem to get these emotional attachments and connection with these vehicles, and that's what you work and strive to do in your life, is to try to buy something that you feel you're connected with. And that's kind of been my story my whole life. And I've had so many different connections with so many different cars and trucks and vehicles and motorcycles. Yeah, it's probably I in the last 10 years, how many bikes have I purchased? I guarantee it, 50 motorcycles. I would be willing to venture in the last 10 years, at least 50 motorcycles. I gotta get some coffee in me because got to get the morning going, got to get things all packed up and get on the road. And I'll tell you one thing I'm really connected with is that Jeep Grand Wagoneer. That vehicle is so nice. I'm not lying. I am so happy now that I put an order in for a Ford Expedition Platinum. And I'm so glad that deal didn't go down, because I don't even know why I did it. I just did it to do it. I'm getting some ice in my coffee here because it's really hot. I'd like to cool down a little bit so I can connect with my coffee. So yeah, so yesterday I just thought to myself, hey, how about a connection? You know, because us individuals that are addicted to these cars and trucks and motorcycles, whatever drives you in the ice age, we so become connected to our machines, and probably more so than others than me that get so connected to vehicles, they don't let them go. I mean, there's just some people that buy something and they never let it go. But for me, right now, the Indian product, I would really have to say that the smart decision, the kid, here's the good news. The kid really now loves this Indian Chief. It's the Super Chief Limited. And I'm just really happy. And in here is the windshield and the seat that used to be on that bike. So that extended, or I should say the push forward seat, and removing that windshield, she became so much more connected to this motorcycle. If you watched my channel this weekend, I'm sorry, I'm here drinking my coffee. Got to get my coffee in me. If you watched my channel, we rode on Thursday, and when she got back in, she just was not excited about this motorcycle. That windshield was pushing her around. So I was adamant on Friday that we got to ride again. I got to take that windshield off, take the little lowers off that give you protection, and just get this bike opened up so she feels like she's more connected with it. And sure enough, after riding on Friday, she just loves this motorcycle. And for me, I mean, I would rather have the Indian brand. When it comes to pick and choose, I would far rather be on the Indian motorcycles than the Harleys. The Indians are a better balanced, more confident riding motorcycle. It's just much more comfortable. And that's the reason I went out and got this Super Chief, because I knew that it was just really growing out of this bobber. And I just really hoped that she would have a connection with this, because then we're two up on the Indians. So for my daughter, she has come full circle. My daughter says that she's done a 180 on her, views, this motorcycle. In fact, last night we cleaned them all up, and she waxed the bike, and she spent a lot of time. So she just really loves this bike. So she's now connected with this motorcycle, which I would even venture to say that I said, you know what, that thing's outright owned. I mean, it's paid for. If I said to her, you know what, I'm sick of paying for that Street Bob, can you part with it? Yeah, she'd be like, yeah, I can, because she's so much more now connected with that Indian. And what's really interesting too is another whole 180 product. Over a year ago, we got rid of the Gold Rush Scat Pack in place for a Ford Mustang. And now here it is, not even a year later, she would part with her Ford Mustang to keep this, because she just feels more connected with this. I think she's kind of learned up in that area you live with the stick shift in the car gets old. We're in tune with, stick shift cars are cool. The Mustang's cool. But when you live in traffic and drive around the real reality, the connection of that car starts to kind of fade, because you're constantly fighting the clutch in and clutch out. So she doesn't really drive that car much anymore. And I figured it out a while back, is because the traffic's so bad in our area. She just, had an emotional disconnect that car, because it's aggravating. And that's what happened on this Indian Super Chief. She was with that windshield pushing her around and making her feel uncomfortable on that motorcycle, that she just really just wanted to disconnect herself from that. She just really, if you watch the video from Thursday when we do the Indian Ventures, and you watch the fourth video, you'll see her, and you'll just see how she just, and then watch the Friday video when we come back in, and we do a walk around, and you can see a total connection with that motorcycle now. Yeah, and so for some people, it's more like, well, the connection. Well, here's the thing. What drives us to buy these vehicles? When you go test drive a car, truck, motorcycle, whatever it may be, or a utility vehicle, or ATV, dirt bike, I mean, it's lots of different motorized things, electric vehicle. What is your connection? What do you get out of experience? And that's why the dealership wants you to drive the vehicle, because they know if you have a connection with that vehicle, you're going to try to buy it. And then we get so connected to them that we work very hard to keep them. And so, but I think to myself, with the ICE age versus EV age, as the trend is growing, and I was reading an article this morning about how the lithium phosphate iron, or lithium iron phosphate technology is growing by leaps and bounds. It's a cheaper way to build a battery. It has more challenges in cold environment over the nickel, magnesium, cobalt battery, the NMC or the NCM or the LPF or LFP, all these abbreviations. And so the auto industry is truly going to the lithium phosphate iron battery, even they know it's a little shorter range and it's more challenging in cold weather, but it's far less expensive. And the materials, raw materials, are easy to extract outside of Russia, because Russia's got like the biggest nickel, and China and other things. But what's really intriguing is they're going to make an M3P battery. They're now they're taking the two technologies and they're merging them together. So yeah, they're using both technologies of batteries, and there's the baby. And so they're merging those products. Oh, there's my baby upstairs, still upstairs, the bedroom way up there. That's where the kid is, and I'm way down here. And so, and the word is they're blending the battery technology to make it more affordable and actually give it maybe even more range. And that's kind of a little, it said it had a 248 range or something. That was a little more vague in that conversation. But for the EV side, the connection, they're figuring out how to connect the two different technology batteries into one battery. It's kind of like synthetic motor oil. You have the blend motor oil, if anybody's a motorhead on that. And yeah, I'm drinking my coffee. I know it's up in my face and everything else. So there's a connection, right? But then I think about electric vehicles. I just think to myself, on the electric vehicle side, do we really get that same connection? And it seems like the electric vehicle technology, what's going on with that more than ever is the fact that we're kind of, the technology with electric vehicles is autonomous driving, all the security options of the vehicle. It's a disconnect. What I'm trying to say here, an electric vehicle, doesn't it seem like it's going to be a disconnect on the technology to us driving the car? That more so than ever for us, you're going to have the availability in your car to be doing other tasks as the car goes down the road. And so you're really, in so many ways, disconnected from the vehicle and your environment of moving down the road. You're not aware of your surroundings, your environment. And I was telling you my last week video that one of my friends at the car meet has a Tesla, and he tells me, and he drives like a 25, 30 mile commute to work, and the vehicle drives, his Tesla S drives him to work. And he can just do other things as the car is going down the road, which, wow. And so to me, the new EV age is going to create the disconnect age. I think more than ever, people aren't going to be cognizant of their environment, and they're not going to be really attached to that vehicle, which I guess will create the ease of people not owning vehicles. There'll be more people just calling vehicles when they need vehicles. I mean, I really think that's the next big phase of where it's all going. So when you go by somebody's house, they won't even maybe have maybe one car because they're just going to call up a car and they need it. But I think it's going to be a whole disconnect to the whole ice age addicts like me. That I will be looked at as the addict that's the problem of the world because of my addictions to wanting so many different type of style rides and different flavor and different experiences that will offend others. So they're going to be like, you need to disconnect from that, your addictions and habits. And so it's just, but that I think radiates into other aspects of life. I just think that it's just incredible on how where we are in today's society, I think we're disconnecting from one another more than ever because of all the technology, the artificial intelligence. There's article after article now being written about how artificial intelligence is going to so take over lower level jobs in the corporate world that the data input, just the minuscule, not real high level of training individuals will be eliminated because artificial intelligence is going to take their jobs. So that's already being talked about in the productivity of artificial intelligence, but it's going to create the disconnect. It's already happening in the remote working. So get this, I talked a month ago about how I felt more than ever the remote working is creating drug addictions. I just really one day thought, wow, more than ever, people are disconnected from their office as far as physical, connection, and they're connected via the internet, but they're disconnected from reality of their job because they're doing drugs. And sure enough, there's a whole article, I think it was either Bloomberg or Wall Street Journal, one of the two big internet media companies, and they had a whole article, this past weekend, that they speculate 20% of the workforce that are remotely working are drug drug issues. That people are getting high working at home, and they're on the job remotely working, and it's a huge problem. Human Resources is starting to see this. People are raising their hand and saying that the pandemic created a whole different lifestyle for them, being remotely working. And in so many aspects, people weren't even working. They were just being paid to sit home. And so many people took their evening activities to the daytime activities. So it's a huge problem right now. And like I say, human resources at major corporations are seeing people volunteer to tell their challenges, that they are now needing, social help, social assistance, and they're borderline drug addicts. So, wow, isn't that something? I mean, I'm not here to brag about myself, but it's just an awareness thing. But it's also the total disconnect from reality. People going to work where they can hide behind the screen and do devious things. And isn't that what's just so aggravating about being on the internet, that people just do such devious, rude, nasty things because you don't see them in person? Most people in person aren't going to mouth off like they do on the internet and make, these threats and make just bad comments and whatever it may be, because they're disconnected from the reality of being in front of you as a person and really seeing the emotions that you both would share through those type of heated exchanges. And it's just a total disconnect on respect. I mean, I think more than ever, we're witnessing just total disconnect of respect. That we're seeing people that just have no respect for others' lives or well-being. And the connection. I mean, I think to myself, more than ever, we're living in a society where people just aren't connected with God. It's as if, stuttering here, sorry, Monday morning, getting the coffee going, but it's as if people are living in this physical world when they think there's no afterlife, or they don't have any belief in God, and they just don't understand or believe in their actions will have consequences. And unfortunately, for many of them that are very physical and abusive, or even take others' lives and have no respect for others' lives, their focus is they'll just go to prison for X amount of time and whatever. And there's no after life of the consequences for taking other people's lives. It's like that fear doesn't even exist in so many people. You just read and hear so many people terminating other people where they don't have any self respect for others just in life. That there's not a big deal if you take somebody else's life. I mean, wow. So to me, there's a whole other disconnect of where we're going in today's society. I mean, it's just incredible how the disconnect from the work office, remote working, the disconnect of artificial intelligence, the disconnect of cars being able to drive themselves, where you don't have to do anything besides just sit in the vehicle. In England right now, they just started a new bus service, 14-mile bus service that's going to allow the buses, or a few, they're going to be at least one at this time, is going to be an autonomous driving bus. You'll still have a driver in the seat monitoring the bus. You're going to have another person collecting the monies, but it's a project that's supposed to run through 2025. And if it's successful, then you're going to get a bus in England, and it's going to be a bus that drives itself with no per se person in the seat. And also you'll just be like one person on the bus instead of two to handle the getting the monies and all, making sure things stay in order for the riders, which you have to think artificial intelligence will take that over as well. Wow. I mean, just my arm here, it's like a bug's trying to climb up on it. Or is it the humidity? Kind of getting humid here. That's what's going on. So, put my coffee down here as I walk around, and you guys get to see my face and do my things here. And it's a little easier back in the office to actually hold the phone here and not have to hold it up the whole time. That kind of gets old after a while. So I'll go back to holding the phone, and you can kind of look around and see the beautiful scenery here. It just really is beautiful down here. Here's the food for the nighttime animals. They didn't show up. Both my dogs being here. Beautiful magnolia tree right here. And then just the scenery. There's the church that we go to across the way. It's kind of hard to see, but let me see if I can zero it in for you over there. There's a really nice church over there. We just love going there. Great congregation. Really simple. And I tell you what, yesterday I was there, and what's interesting, churches more than ever today, you have to be prepared for the what if. So like that church there, it has security monitors all over that church, and there's actually a designated area, the person that watches the cameras, and then the doors are all locked, and then there's people in there with all that have guns. So here in Tennessee, I didn't even notice this. In Tennessee, you don't have to get a permit to have conceal. It's so cool. In Tennessee, you do not have to have a permit for your weapon. It's open or conceal. No permits. Wow. Isn't that pretty cool? So you can ride around with your guns in your car, your motorcycle. You can have one strapped behind your back, and you're always ready for the what if. And I think if more people, I mean, I get it. There's a fine line there of what makes sense and doesn't. But at the same time, you have to say, if 100 people had guns on them at the local Walmart store, and the one guy showed up to take out the other, others, you got to wonder. I'm not here to get the gun debate going, but if you as the guy showing up to go shoot people know that everybody else has guns as well, would you maybe think that through a little bit more? I don't know. It's always debatable. Yeah, the disconnect, right? If you're connected with reality, and that's the whole thing. So anyways, we're really having a great time. We're going to get on the road today, head back. We're going to take back the one Challenger, the Gold Rush, and stay down here, and then this Jeep Grand Wagoneer. I can't emphasize enough, this is one of the nicest vehicles that I've bought on a Highline vehicle. That vehicle is so great. It really is. I mean, I love that vehicle. It is just so, I mean, it's such a fun driving, powerful, that inline six twin turbo Hurricane motor. That thing is so powerful. It is torquey. The engine and the exhaust have a nice rumble to it. It really does. Extremely comfortable. I love that vehicle. I would part with other vehicles to keep that vehicle. I mean, sincerely, if I had let other things go to keep that, I would keep that. I mean, really, just the air ride suspension. So the connection to that vehicle, and I really wanted one of those, and I waited, and it's like I've connected with that vehicle the whole point. Whole message. All right. Hey, call it at that. And appreciate everybody watching my channel, and hope these ideas can kind of relate with you, and you can share stories with others, like the total disconnect of people working. I mean, wow. I just think it's pretty cool and how I brought that up. And here's a main article about, yeah, that's really going on, that we live in a pothead society. So that's my saying now, that more than ever, people are disconnecting from reality by smoking pot and doing drugs. It's through the roof. And it's looked at being acceptable. I mean, it really is. I mean, very sad. So, sadly, this country is becoming disconnected to realities. And I just think to myself, too, like the border, the illegal immigration, I think that that's a total disconnect of reality, that we should be spending our time of our military and resources and relationships with other countries of getting them to take care of their own. I mean, I'm so sick of hearing the Republicans and Democrats go back and forth on this illegal immigration. It's such a waste of time. It's such smoke and mirrors. It's all about the governing bodies around us in these countries that are not taking care of their own. It's time for them to take care of their own. And the governing bodies of our country need to start visiting these other countries and saying it's not acceptable that you continue to send all of your problems to our country. I mean, where is this talk? I don't understand why we can't be more aggressive on trying to help other countries. We're dumping all our money into Ukraine. I mean, billions. Why wouldn't we spend our money wiser in other countries to help them with their humanitarian challenges? That's what it's all about. And instead of, we're going to continue just to hear the illegal immigration talk. I mean, the borderline, why don't people just stand up in this country and start getting rid of these legislative powers to be that don't know how to handle this? I mean, sincerely, you and I as a citizen can round up enough people, get enough signatures, you can get these people out of office, to get somebody in office to understand how to handle the challenges of foreign bodies around us that are abusing their governing policies and bodies by sending their problems to us. To me, these politicians are disconnected from reality. So let's disconnect them. Everybody, thanks for watching my channel. Appreciate all the nice comments. As always, stay tuned, stay safe, God bless, and have a great day.